I've mentioned in other reels that I'm not a fan of releasing music on cassette and vinyl. Personally, I don't think either of them sound very good. There's some argument for CD, that's pretty much a dead format now. I'm a big fan of trying to get hold of music as 24-bit WAV files or FLAC files, anything that's as high quality as you can get in a digital format. The reason's this. Many years ago, I accidentally found myself in a strange situation where I was in a studio called The Farm in the UK, which at the time was owned by Genesis. I was there with a friend of mine at the time, and Tony Banks, the keyboard player, took us for a look around. And at the time, they were remixing one of their albums. And now I'm not a Genesis fan and I'm not a Genesis expert, but they're a pretty big band, and I really wasn't appreciative of the music that's being played. However, I was aware that I'm standing in a studio that's worth an absolute fortune with highly talented musicians who are extraordinarily successful and famous, listening on speakers to what they're making judgment calls on their music. That music eventually would have found its way, probably at the time, onto CD. It was that era. And that would have been a compromise on what was happening and coming out of the speakers in that studio. And it stuck with me that really the only way you're ever really going to get to the source of a musician's sound is if you're with them in their studio at the point at which they're mixing, or possibly in a mastering studio at the point they're sat there approving the mastering. Anything else is a compromise. And so to me, the argument about the quality of different formats gets slightly lost once you've been in a situation like that. Now, I absolutely appreciate very few of us get to be in that situation, but it is a bit of a reference point, a bit of a just leveler in the argument, in my opinion, because honestly, I think very high quality digital files are probably the closest to what the artist intended when they were making those mix decisions just before it was released to us, the audience. So there you go.